Welcome back to the Map for College learning community. My name is Ernest Minelli, founder of Map for College. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. This video will present ideas about admissions regions. So the concept of admissions regions comes from my experience and my background, both working with students and families in private practice, but also it goes back to my days as a work-study student in college when I had a part-time job working in the admissions and financial aid office as a file boy, running files back and forth to admissions officers, answering the telephones, and just learning a lot and absorbing a lot of information about the mindset of an admissions committee in the macro sense. So what do I mean by admissions regions? Most students who are thinking of applying to schools typically tend to apply to a vast majority of their schools within about a 250-mile radius of their home. Now again, I say most students, I'm going off of national numbers, I'm going off of professional experience. Basically, close to home tends to be more familiar. You tend to have more institutional, cultural background knowledge. You might have siblings who have gone to school, neighbors, friends, relatives, coaches, teachers. So in general, if you take a 250-mile radius of where you live and where you go to high school, that's sort of the peripheral vision at the outset of where you might be considering applying. Now, of course, many students will consider schools outside of their own region, outside of their own zone of the country. And that's wonderful, that's great. I think there should be a diversity, just as you have a diversity in your portfolio of schools, in terms of having a balance of reach schools and target schools. I think students should also have a balance of admissions regions. You don't necessarily want to have every school on your list be something either within your principal area region, or correspondingly, you don't want every school on your list to be entirely outside of your principal region. Why do I mention that? I mention that because if you have certain elements of your application portfolio in place, and you are looking at the alignment of programs and goals and standards, and you're comparing academic departments, campus environments, student activities, the ability to have that work-life balance that college students want as they make the transition point from high school into their early adult years. They meet some of their friends who will become foundational for the rest of their lives from the college standpoint and that college experience. So when you're developing your list of schools, I'd like you to keep in mind that if you have certain schools within your academic region, within your geographical region, that's going to be a source of stability. It's going to be a source of more ready information. You're going to have more background knowledge. Your guidance office is most likely going to be better informed and better connected with some of those schools and with some of the professionals at those admissions offices. They might have existing relationships where you have actual campus visits coming to your school or coming to your region, to your area, from admissions officers from colleges going to do high school visits. So by all means, keep some schools from within your region in your portfolio. But also, I would encourage you, even if you are leaning towards staying close to home, I would encourage you to put some schools on your list that absolutely align with your prospective field of study, that absolutely align with your values and your goals, but that maybe consider some schools that are outside your region, because you would have that geographical diversity. You would have an extra layer of novelty, both for you and for the school, because sometimes a college will take a look at a student from a high school where they haven't admitted a student for many years, or they haven't had many applicants for many years. And maybe that college is looking to increase its presence in your area, increase its footprint, so to speak. So the way that I envision the admissions regions is that you've got Appalachia, the Great Lakes, the Great Plains, the Mid-Atlantic, the Mountain Region, the Northeast, Southeast, Sun Belt, West Coast, and U.S. territories, Alaska, Hawaii. So you've also got international options. So when you think about the vast concept of admissions regions, you can put together a really strong, balanced portfolio that takes into account public and private options, local, regional, and national, or even international options. And then with that strong layer of quality that you want to keep as the central guiding influence of your school search, you can then compare the schools in your region, the schools outside the region, the schools that you want to keep in the mix as reaches, the schools that you want to have in your portfolio as targets, the schools where you might be able to make a campus visit before you apply, and the schools where you might make a virtual campus visit online, and then possibly make an in-person campus visit if you are accepted. So you want to keep in mind the logistics of the application and the logistics of the decision-making process. And one of the biggest reasons why having a balance between local schools and regional schools and national or international schools on your list is that way you have better coverage for a range of options, because you might not know entirely what you want until you start the application process, the reflection process, and when you get offers, you want to be able to compare offers based on a variety of merits. Not just the academics, not just the campus life, not just the logistics and the financial aid. All of those are important. You also want to consider where you want the next 4 years of your life to take place. And if you have a variety of choices from within your admissions regions, then you will have that choice reflected when it comes time to making decisions about where to attend and where to matriculate. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please like and share, subscribe to our growing YouTube channel, and become a part of the Map for College learning community. Turn on notifications to be notified when we record and post a new video. Thank you so much for taking the time, and welcome to the Map for College learning community.